We have said we're going to do we've not done before. The reason why you don't hear about us is because I place an embargo. We don't pay journalists to publish our stories. We don't. We allow the work we do to speak for itself. For the very first time in our history, we are introducing a brand of freedom fighting never seen anywhere in the world before. There are Biafrans in every country of the world, and we are uniting them under one common purpose, to go and fulfill the will of God. And that will of God is that Biafra must come. So, we stand here today. We could have done this like the criminals do by hiding. We got our veterans and the high command of the Biafran army to be here present to give us the authority to march forward. We have prayed and recognized those that fell in battle. It is now our turn to go and pick up their gun, as they used to say, and finish the work that they started.
Yes,
And that work starts from today.
Amen.
It starts from now.
Amen.
I was hoping they would have come to the club talk here. I was praying for it. We are telling our veterans, the high command of the Biafran army, those of you here assembled, that God in heaven knows. If anything stands in our way, that thing will be completely destroyed. Amen. If I am the obstacle to the restoration of Biafra, I expect those sitting behind me to kill me. Because Biafra is more important than life itself. The only way you can go to heaven is through Biafra. And I can prove it to you. This is where God will come when it comes down to earth. Okechukwu NwaBiafra will come here. Yes, this land is holier than Jerusalem. Yes. Everything we hold there, we proclaim this very day that the only civilization not to have a king, the only people not to conquer anybody and nobody conquered them. That you are the direct descendants of Okechukwu NwaBiafra. You come straight from heaven. Therefore, you will not bow before any man. You will not bow before Islam. You will not cower before Yoruba people. You will stand very tall. Because your progenitors, your ancestors that gave you this land, God was with them. Yes. Nobody is like you. It is time for us to demonstrate that to the whole world. Anybody foolish enough or stupid enough to say that Biafra will not come, we tell them that all men bleed. Regardless of the country you come from, we defend our territory from today. If they come in here, we kill them.
Yes.
That is our pledge to you. That is our very humble submission. That if you go back to your respective homes, your divisions, your villages, your homesteads, your kindred, and tell them that Biafra is coming.
Yes.
Tell them that Biafra is coming in truth and honesty. Tell them that the death of Okechukwu signified the coming of Biafra. Yes. Most people did not know that. The day I heard that our Moses was dead, I knew that Biafra was coming. Yes. And we stand here today on the precipice of history to make it very known and clear to everybody that there are still genuine, true Biafrans left. Yes. There are Biafrans who don't love money. There are Biafrans that regard Biafra more than their own life. I will sacrifice my entire family. This very minute if you give me Biafra. If you ask me to sacrifice my parents, my wife, and my child, I will gladly do so, without one moment's hesitation. Because Biafra is the only way that God can come down to earth. That is why they don't want Biafra to stand. If Biafra stands, this place is the zero meridian in the world. From here, you count left, you count right, you count up, you count down, it is zero. They took it and gave it to Greenwich Mean Time. It is not. It is here. We are zero. There are things about you that you don't know. As you continue to listen to Radio Biafra, as you continue to perform the activities we ask you to perform, we assure you that Biafra will come. Not by any special thing we are going to do, but because the grace of Okechukwu NwaBiafra is with us. Very simple. Every honor and glory, every praise, every adoration goes to Okechukwu NwaBiafra. for what he has done in our lives. Some of you here, your names are Tupu, Matupu, Ebuka, Tupu Nonso, Chinedu, There is no other people on this planet Earth that answer Okechukwu, that answer Ifeanyi, that answer Chizoba, only us. Not too far from here, you have a place called NwaBiafra. From Umu and Igwe, I told our veterans yesterday. What does NwaBiafra mean? What does Umu and Igwe mean? On that, I read what I know about Biafra that most people don't know. That Biafra is the closest you can get to God. That is why we preach gospel on Radio Biafra. We don't just broadcast. If Umu and Igwe is here, if the children of the kingdom of heaven is here, if the children of God is here, that means also that Chukwuabiama is here. Yes. I thank each and every one of you for having come today. I salute all the brave and courageous soldiers, those of them who are about to commit into something that will give us our freedom. We are going to meet our enemies wherever we find them. Yes. We will not hesitate for a moment to do what is right to protect the territory. I end by telling our veterans today that 1967 to 70 is not 2013 to 2015. Yes. If you had a scientist that can make Ogbunigwe, we have those that can make wars now. Yes. We are assembling them all over the world. We will manufacture our own weapons in this land, so all your air, land, and sea blockade will not work anymore. We come prepared. I have studied Biafra for 18 years. That is why we cannot fail. Not for anything we may have done, but because we are the children of God. I thank all of you. Please, I urge you to go back to your respective places, preach the gospel of Biafra with humility, with honesty, with truthfulness. Because indeed, in the new Biafra, it will be Ebeberugo, Bereketu, and Bukakwaya. Thank you very much.
All right. That was our leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's oath of allegiance. Therefore, great Biafrans and lovers of freedom, I welcome you to this very address this evening. My name is Tony Onaga, as always. Here is Freedom TV, where we preach freedom and nothing but freedom without fear or favor to anybody or any person or any race. We are asking a question. That's why we come today, and also we are here to let the caliphate, the Fulani Janjaweed that is holding our leader captive, to understand that violence they want from us, they can get it. The only thing is that Biafrans are law-abiding people. We pursue Biafra restoration according to the international protocols. But it is clear to us that now, international community don't want to look into our issue. It is true that what our enemies want from us is us to go violent. And I want to ask you, Biafrans, if we don't go violent, if we don't fight to be free, how do we become free? Is there any possibilities that we get freedom without fighting for it? Now, yesterday, Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor was denied access to our leader for this is the, I think, uncountable times this has happened. And we Biafran want to let Nigerian government to understand that this cannot continue to happen this way. I want to let you Biafrans also understand that there is only one thing they want. They want us to fight. They want us to go violent so they can justify their claims that IPOB is a terror group. But the truth remains that the world knows that we are not terrorists. This is the time that we have to fight for what we have believed in. This is the time that, if not, let me ask you a question to most of you who are following me. If what they want is not violence, why should they violate, aside from the international laws, which says that someone who is in incarceration or who is arrested, despite the fact that Mazi Kanu was abducted, which is illegal. But let's talk like he's arrested. He's accused. An accused person, according to international constitution, has the right to legal representatives. He has the right to visitors. People can come and visit him until he is proven guilty. So why should our leader be held illegally in detention, abducted from Kenya? And not just that, it didn't just stop there. We still continue to be law-abiding citizens, law-abiding people, just because we want our case to be justified. But I really personally think that our patience has been overdue. I am going to do enough. As in, we have had a lot of patience. And there is one reason why they are doing this. If you go through history, you will understand the ancestor, the direct forefather, the direct ancestor of all the Fulanis who lives in Nigeria. The Fulanis in Nigeria I'm talking about mainly, who is Usman Dan Fodio. This is the same strategy which he used to conquer Hausa kingdom between 1804 and 1802 historically. You can check your history. And I will tell you how he did that. This is the same strategy he used. Just the same strategy the person who is distracting us is using. That is why I continue to ask you, Biafrans, to never allow yourselves to be distracted by those that might come by the name of Nnamdi Kanu. But at the same time, the strategy which the Fulanis are using is the same strategy they use to conquer Hausa people. Do you know how they conquered Hausa people? They conquered Hausa people between the year 1804, because you all knows that Fulani people, let me tell you this truth and this fact. They might hate it, they might not love it, but the history makes us to understand that Fulanis were betted by vulture. I'm sorry if this might offend you, but this is true. Okay, then after they were betted in the Sahel region of Africa, they begin to migrate. That is why you can see Fulani person in every part of African continent. Do you know why? It's not because they originally from that place, but because they've got originally no home. And that was how when they came to Nigeria between 1804, between the 17th century, excuse me. And then how they conquered Hausa people was because when they came to Hausa people, they burnt down as servants. They started to serve Hausa people. Just the same thing, exactly the same thing they've done to our people. And those things are things we are here to correct today. And also, to let them understand one thing. Biafrans are gallant people. Biafrans are determined people. Biafrans are warrior. Biafrans reject to be second-hand citizens in their own land. Biafrans reject to be intimidated just the same way you did to Hausa people. That today they are suffering the dominance of the Fulani. So when Uthman Dan Fodio was growing up between the year 1750, I think he was born the year 1754, if I'm not mistaken. So while he was growing up, he became one of the Islamic clergies in the northern part. I want to tell you this story because I know the reason why I want to tell you this story, and I want you to give me a little bit of your time, is because I understand the strategy which they are using and what they want to do and the reason for all these provocations. We understand. Now, the first of all, when they came to Hausa people after serving them, they understood the culture of Hausa people. They understand how Hausa people do their things. They understand how these people work, what they believe in. And then this man, when he joined the Islamic scholars, he started traveling around the world. And you know, the expansionism of all of these Islamists, they always like to conquer you. Though they are the one that will say Igbo persons want to conquer you, but they are the greatest conquest. So, after Uthman Danfodio had gone to schools, and then he came back, he mobilized boys in the name of religion. And then, before the war broke out in the year 1804, this was exactly the same thing they did with Hausa people. And now that is what they want to do with us. And the question is, how prepared are we as a people? How ready are we? Because let me tell you the truth. If we don't go violent, if we don't fight to defend, this is not even going violent because they are already violent with us. People that kills our mothers. 2,000 militaries were sent down yesterday, the 21st day, right? Of February 2021 to Biafra land. And why did they do that? They did that because they want to start a civil war. This year, 2022, when most of our Eastern politicians are planning and aspiring for 2023 presidency. Now, what are this thing, or should we go down? And it's better that we go down. What are all these things better? Because here and what is very important. It's very important, but that a lot of us has been aggrieved by this very current development from the DSS. But I want you all to know that before we could embark on anything, our leader has to be out. Because he is the only person divinely mandated to lead this army. And how can we get our leader out if we don't go violent? That is the question we are asking today. And actually, Biafrans around this platform, because for me, personally, I know that they can't kill our leader because our leader is divinely sent to redeem us, to restore this kingdom of heaven, to make sure that we stop suffering as a black people. But because if when our political leaders are busy aspiring, planning for 2023, those that find joy in killing us continue to kill us. Let me tell you the truth. If we don't go violent, they will never take us serious. Let me tell you. And it's not, like I said, it's not going violence because they are killing our mother. They are killing our sisters. They are raping our sisters, our wives. And self-defense is our right. Now, you cannot arrest our leader without abduct, sorry to use that word arrest because it wasn't arrest. And then, in short, I may protest. Ibuani. Anyị jụọ ajụjụ, igbu anyị. Anyị sị ka anyị nọdụ n'ụlọ, igbu anyị. Ihe ọbụla anyị sị ka anyị mee, nsogbu ka ọ bụ. So, all the while that if you have been following me all this while, I've been saying that not the I stock our food. Because here Chokita has the 2,000 military in the eastern part of Nigeria. If we go violent, because they know that now, if they don't produce our leader, it will trigger anger between us that will make us to raise arm or to do one or two things. And then they will justify their claims. Because, hey, Nigoda, most of you might not believe this, but this is true. This is true. And the worst of it is that those we look up to are cowards. If you are a Biafran politician or Igbo politician, you are an idiot. Because if you are not an idiot, how can somebody, let me use myself an example. How can somebody come into my house, take my brother and claim that he's a criminal and claim that he's a terrorist, and then when I come to visit him or to ask him how come he became a terrorist, you will say you won't talk to me All you know is that he is a terrorist. And instead of me, like Igbo people used to say, let me bust on you. Even if you are the strongest man on earth, you cannot abduct my mother, and I'll be looking at you. Even if you're the greatest man on earth, you cannot rape my wife, and I'll be looking at you. You rape my wife in my presence. Do you understand where we are going? Or do you continue to find joy in gossiping on social media? Do you now understand that our leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is suffering because of us? Do you now know that for us to be free, that we need to fight for our freedom? Do you now understand that the reason why Nigeria is suffering is because they never fought for their freedom? If you don't fight for your freedom, if you wait for your freedom to be negotiated, then you must be on the losing side, because it will never be negotiated in your favor. You can only take your freedom when you fight for it. That is when you will take full control of your freedom and of whom you are. It doesn't matter what anybody could tell you. I know some religious leaders in Biafra land will say, let all the great men in Biafra land come. But how do you think they will come if they never found anything wrong that Igbo prominent persons will go to Abuja and they'll be disgraced like a kid? Even a kid, you can't disgrace a kid here in Italy. Here in the civilized countries, you don't intimidate kids. Talk more of a high chief from Igbo nation. Is this not a disgrace to our entire nation? Is this not a disgrace to Igbo race? How can you wait when you know that the only single man fighting for us is going through torture, abuse, and confinement, solitary confinement? Do you now understand that the reason why there is no light in Nigeria is because they negotiated their freedom? And they will never be free. And that is why I'm calling Biafrans today. Is it not the right time that we all has to go violent? Because even the Bible that you read, I always like to hold you by the Bible, because all of us reads Bible. Even the Bible you read says, kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and violence took it by force. How can our leader, who has committed no crime, be going through all of those torture? This is mental torture they are giving to him, and it's intolerable. This is crime against humanity in the international constitution. And we understand that international governing body don't want to help us. They don't want to hear even our stories. Do you know why? Because they understand that we are the oldest people on the planet Earth. That is why I don't want to talk about Biafra. They found joy seeing our mothers and our sisters get raped every day. They found joy in seeing our bushes and our forests being raised. They found joy in inviting militaries into us. Why do we have to continue respecting these sets of people? Why do we have to continue to call them elders? Why do we have to call them even our kinsmen? Do you see the reason why some of us, we fight these religious nonsenses? Because if it was then, ọbụlụ mgbe ndị nze na ọzọ na-asị ile n'ala Igbo, ọbụlụ mgbe ọ ga-abụ tupu echie gị ọzọ ijee n'okwu a na bụ na asa gị ile, ọ ga-abụ na ịpụta ebe okwu na-ese na ikwulu eziokwu a na-etigbuo gị. Do you see that now our Igbo prominent people wouldn't do those things? Do you see why we are aggrieved with religion? Do you see why we are not against church, but we hate what it brought to us? Because now before, all these idiots who are sitting in political positions in Biafra land, they are all title stakeholders in Igbo land. If it was when we used to respect the traditions of our land, if it was when we choose leadership based on the directives of the Supreme, do you now understand that this set of people cannot redeem Biafra? Let me tell you something we all don't understand. Look at what is happening in Ethiopia. For the past a year plus, Ethiopian government and the Tigrayan forces has been fighting. Do you know that no international media reported it? Do you know that for over a year and a half, there has been war in Ethiopia, in Tigrayan region of Ethiopia? It's Tigran people are suffering just exactly the same way, Biafrans are suffering. Do you know they have been fighting for almost 2 years and the international media don't want to talk about it? But the international media talk about Ukraine. There is no war in Ukraine. It's only that Russia recognized 2 states in Ukraine, which are states that has been agitating for freedom. And when Russia recognized them, the international community see it as a crime because they are all against freedom. And that is why we have to take our freedom by force. That is why we don't have to continue waiting that the people who don't have our interest will come and negotiate our freedom. Because we can never get it. If we are waiting for international body to come and fight for us, I'm sorry, but we will be doomed as a people. We are the people that is going to redeem ourselves. That is why this is the time for us to stand up. This intimidation has to stop. We are no longer in the 18th century. This is 21st century. If our ancestors can withstand 3 good years of fight against the whole world, because the whole world conspired against Biafran people and Biafran children, that they rose up in genocide against us. The only thing we have to do is to strategize ourselves. We don't have to continue waiting or continue being in fear that we fought before and we don't want war again. Are we not in war? I'm asking all of you who continue to come on social media to preach us only peace and restoration of this kingdom. If our mother cannot go to the farm, is it not a war? If for our sister to go out in the night, she has to be scared that she could be abducted or raped by the Fulani herdsmen, are we not in war? When our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is divinely sent to us, was abducted in Kenya, brought back to the DSS dungeon, putting him there and deny him legal representatives, deny him access to his lawyers and to his relatives, even though their court already ordered it. Are we not in war? I'm asking, are we not in war? So why are we so much afraid of this war? And how do we even want, many of us preach Biafra? We don't want war. Many of you go to church and your pastor preach that the Israelites were set free, but you don't want war. This is an insult against Biafran people. Denying lawyers access to our leader is an insult to IPOB family, and we must have to react. We must have to retaliate. This is no more time to pursue this struggle in peace. They don't give us option. They are giving us the last option, which is violent. And when we start, I hope the whole world will understand that we have cried a lot, but they don't want to come to our rescue. Because I don't see any person, let me make this very clear to those that will say we are mongering for war. Look at what is happening in Imo State. Look at what is happening in Abia State. Look at Anambra State, where I come from. What is happening there? Enugu State, the same thing. Benue people can no longer go to their farms. Even Igbo-speaking people in Benue. Adamawa, the same thing. Katsina State is conquered. And most of you, the worst problem that Nigerians are having is believing that it will not get to them. It's believing that God has been faithful. That's why it didn't get to them. But I tell Biafrans that we shouldn't continue dwelling in cowardice of some religious leaders in Nigeria who find joy in defrauding people in the name of God. I want to let the Biafrans understand that we don't have to continue being peaceful anymore. We have been peaceful enough. Sometimes they say action speaks louder than voice. Now let me tell you the true reason for this. Let me show you this very broadcast, should I say interview, that was granted by the then Bauchi State Governor, or Kaduna State Governor if I'm not mistaken. Let me show you this very video here. Please kindly bear with me because I want you to understand the reason why we are here is to give you every update and to make you understand the reason for anything these people are doing. And then it's up to us to strategize ourselves to enable us to know how we can fight our common enemy, because we don't have to continue being cowards This is the reason why for all these provocations, we understand, but only that I don't believe that we should continue being in their shoes. This is the reason. Watch this. Watch this. This is the reason for all these nonsenses. This is the reason, I tell you.
Practice of moving from one place to the other. And that is very big, an uphill task. But I think we can communicate with them more, because to them, they don't have borders from Cameroon to Nigeria.
But that's the thing, Excellency. How do we ensure that those who will be participating in this federal government largely funded program will be Nigerians?
In terms of the funding?
No, in terms of
the operations.
You said to bring in the Fulanis together. We have Fulanis from other countries.
The issue
well.
of misconception, I said there is a lot of mistrust and misconception with regards to the Fulani man. The Fulani man is a global or an African person. He moves from the Gambia, from Senegal, and his nationality is just a Fulani man. And as a person, I may have my relations in the Cameroon, but they are also Fulani men. I have relations because from the maternal side, I'm a Fulani man. And that is why we want to educate people. A Fulani man sees himself as a Bayelsan, as somebody coming from the Niger Delta, because he speaks the Niger Delta language, which you and I don't. And of course, we would have to just take this as part of our own heritage, something that is African, and that we cannot just close the border and say the Fulani man is just a Nigerian or this. No. In most cases, the crises are precipitated by those outside Nigeria. When there is a reprisal, it is not the Fulani man within Nigeria that causes it. It is that culture of getting revenge, which is embedded in the tradition of the Fulani man, that attracts reprisal from all over the
If I understand it, does that mean that those Fulani men who are maybe domiciled in other countries, who move around, they can come into the country and this plan will accommodate them as well?
Yes, that's what we want to do. But it has to be done through sensitization, telling them you have to buy in the project, and you use the language the culture is up to be able to convince them away from the mistrust where the whole system of transhumance or pastoralism is criminalized. Criminalization of pastoralism is the problem that we have with this project, and it requires people with passion who understand them and who they believe in, people like us from that part of the country, to say yes, we have this. Because today there is no limit to the accusation that this and that has happened and it is the Fulani man who caused it. There is no tribe that is not that you don't have this criminality in, but certainly the way and manner we do it is really excavating the crisis and the problems.
Will there be any form of documentation of all the people that will be,
yes, we are
within that?
Oh yes, that is going to give Nigeria the opportunity to really have the best in terms of documentation in the demographics, because as I said, the Fulani man settles anywhere he can feed his cattle. And so if they are put in one place and they are made to understand that this is to save them and their animals, they are exposed to the vagaries of the forest and what is going on, cattle rustling, killings and what have you. And that's why it is important for them to understand that staying in one place is good. And of course, in terms of the best practice of carrying the meat important for them to understand that staying in one place is good. And of course, in terms of the best practice of carrying the best in terms of documentation in the demographics, because as I said, the Fulani man settles anywhere he can feed his cattle. And so if they are put in one place and they are made to understand that this is to save them and their animals, they are exposed to the of the forest is going on, cattle rustling, killings, and what have you. And that's why it is important for them to understand that staying in one place is good. And of course, in terms of the best practice of carrying the meat, the cows and the
let's stay with that security angle for a bit. Is there going to be this plan going to be a fenced enclosure where anyone who comes in is secured? So there is one that can just come in from anywhere else.
No. It is going to be a colony, and a colony does not require a fence.
You will understand
the reason.
You will understand the reason why people are concerned, because of all the security issues that have been happening over time. So if that
these forests are there anyway, if you don't occupy them and create a colony out of them, they create places for the criminals. And today, that's why you have the Sambisa forest, because it is not being utilized.
But Your Excellency, much as yes, I mean, they're fantastic. We have met a lot of them who are Fulanis as well. But the concern too is, why should federal government use resources for this country to accommodate Fulani men who are not Nigerians?
You see, as I said, we are already accommodating them. Do you delineate and then really know who is not a Fulani man from Nigeria? They are all Nigerians, because I said their identity, their own citizenship is Nigerian, even though we have relations all over the world, all over Africa. And so presumably they are Nigerians. I think you get me. That is the misunderstanding.
He wants to use, do you see the problem we are having first? This is the problem. He wants to use the resources coming from Biafra land to colonize his brothers in Sahel. Do you see the reason why we are never one? And the problem is that most of you are expecting our politicians to come and fight for us, knowing fully well that our politicians in their quest for their political ambitions, they are determined, and they can sell us. They can sell the entire nation, it doesn't matter. They can sell our integrity as a people, and it doesn't matter. They can even sell our heritage, as long as they achieve 2023 presidential seat. That's all matters to them. They don't care about how we feel. They don't care about the kind of lives we are living. They don't even want to know if we breathe. They don't even want to know if we go to hospital, if we can feed. Even them knowing fully well that after the barbaric colonists butchered our people in the name of colonization, they took the remnants of our sacred histories and they threw it away and wrote a garbage in replicant of them. Therefore, I ask you, Biafrans, are we going to fold our hands and watch our leader go through all of this mental torture every day? How long are we going to fold our hands and see those that we call servants to us continue to intimidate us, intimidate our generation and our generation to come? Our ancestors fought in self-defense. This is the reason why, for all these intimidations, but we want to fight them in defense. We don't want to start first, though they have started. But they want to use this intimidation to put panic in you, Biafrans. That is why I ask you to desist yourselves from gossips. Let us unite, because it's only with one force that we can get this barbaric entity called Fulani Caliphate down. They want to conquer us the way they conquered House of People. The whole world don't want to hear our story. Nobody wants to talk about us. Nobody wants to hear about Biafra, because they understand that when Biafra sees the light, the whole Africa will see the light. Kita, let us talk about the enemy in Imo State. Every day, military personnel will go into Imo State, kill people, raise their houses, and yet nothing is being done. No international news carries it. Do we want to wait forever? Do we want to continue our next generation come on social media to talk about this nonsense? I personally believe that it is time for us to come to die for what we have believed for. If they want problem and we are left with no option, we have to follow the problem they give to us. How can you abduct a man who has committed no crime, who you wanted to kill and then he ran away, and then you deny us access to him because you want us to go into armed confrontation? This is what they want. This is what they want. They want us to raise arms. They want us to start arms. Then they will say, this is what they want. And that is why I want to call on every Biafran broadcaster who has been saying they want to bring Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's case to stadium. Don't you say that nonsense. Don't you ever repeat to say that. And if you're part of those that have been supporting it, you have to stop. We don't want our leader to be tried in Abuja stadium. No. He has to be tried in law court. They can't assassinate him. We know all their plans even beforehand. And that is why they wonder, how do we even got to know them? How do we get all these informations? Our leader will be tried in law court, not in Abuja stadium. Abuja never had a stadium. And the reason why they have been rumoring it and using some of their media to propagate it is why? Because they want us to go into, listen, now that they are the Navy, don't be surprised that on Thursday, our legal team will not still be allowed access to Amaz. And why? Because they want one of them who is working for them to preach us to go violent, to preach us to attack their army. We will fight, but this is not the due time to fight. The first strategy is to release our leader. If our leader is not free, there is nothing we are fighting for. No, not at all. Because what they want is, now that they continue to deny access, to our lawyer, to the relative of our leader, we will now raise arms. And then, remember, they will say it was Eastern Security Network. And when they say that Eastern Security Network now raised arms against the military terrorists in uniform in our land, they will now channel it on the head of our leader. That is why they have been sent their Janjaweed Gota media to propagate that Mazi will be tried in Abuja High Court. There is nothing like that. No person in the history of the world, except a criminal that is facing death by hanging, should be tried in a stadium or in a field or in an open ground, so that when he is convicted, he will be hanged. That is the reason. So none of you Biafran media warriors or Biafran as a person should ever support that nonsense of trying our leader in Abuja Stadium. None of you. I say this evening. Don't pick nothing from this evening. Just pick that our leader will never be tried in Abuja Stadium. And that's why I'm asking all of you Biafrans. They want us to go into armed confrontation with them. But I want to know what you think. I know you are all aggrieved. There is a number on your screen which you can call to table your own voice. I know. I know what you think. What you think? Do we go violence? The question here is, as we understand that they want us to go violence, that is the reason for this. So we want to know what you think. Do we go violence? Not do we, because we will most definitely go. But is it the right time? That is the question. Is this the right time or not? So if you're following us, if you are with me, you can join us and we hear from you. Because it's good we go. It's good we fight for the freedom of our people. We can continue holding and waiting for those who don't mind selling everything. People who can even use their mother for ritual because they want money. Those are the people that we are hoping for to come and rescue us. But at the end, I assure you that Biafra must come. This is time for us. Is this not time? Enough? Is this not time? Enough? Even knowing fully well that what they want to buy, free. I got on Ayano already. The difference when I had was the same way Hano in 1967. The difference, but they are waiting for that very one because they are so foolish and so daft. Do you now understand Nebehanaga? But the only thing I continue to wonder is our leader must be free before anything. Not if we are going to fight, because we will fight to be free. When the intimidation has been enough, this is time that we must have to fight for the kingdom of Biafra to come. This is time they must have to understand that we are no longer kids anymore. This is time they must have to understand that they cannot repeat the same system Uthman Dan Fodio used in conquering Hausa people against Biafrans. Because Biafra had been free people before the time of colonists. Before the time they came to chain our father and our mother. Before the time they raped our mother and forced them and used their kids even to catch crocodiles. This is why we fight neocolonialism in all form and angle. And we can only get Biafra when we fight for it. If we negotiate freedom of Biafra, we will be worse than Nigeria. The reason why Nigeria is as mess as it is today is because the freedom was negotiated. Freedom is taken, it's not given. Nobody would ever give you freedom on a platter of gold. And we are ready. We are ready to defend our land. If not, ọ bụ na anyị na-eche like ndị ụka na-agwa anyị ọnwụ ihe mmadụ na-agwa m nnyaa sị m na ya sị mmadụ Fada Mbaka na Fada Ebemonso na ha na-ekwu maka anyị that our people can go and worship. And I asked them, ọ bụrụ na Fada Mbaka na Fada Ebemonso adịghị ekwu maka anyị ọ na-ekwu maka anyị for true reason, ha na-control multitudes of people and the politicians na-abịa na their own and campaign and had it close to almost all the politicians na Igbo. Why na ọ bụ na ihe na-emetụta anyị na-adị ha njọ n'obi like that they claim? Kedu ife mee na fancha niile a boycott any politician from even his parish to preach until they go for our leader? Let me tell you, if we don't destabilize their means of earning, all those leaders in Biafra land, be it clergyman, be it religious leader, be it political leader, open and destabilize of their means of income, their means of living, they will never take us serious. And let me tell you, create awareness, create. All of you here to Colombia, for Nima to Chanonica, Tunya to Chapotakot, for Nima to we had to create awareness. You will create awareness for people to know that you are there. If you don't create awareness, they will never take you serious. You have to do certain things that will make them to know that you are serious. Because these people don't even care about us. These people don't even want us to talk. These people want us to remain like this, running around from place to place, seeking for asylum. Obuna nyemelo something, farman stop ibwai. Obuna inete na make the fasting and pray your football chineke na go say I will Biafra. It will never work that way. Obuna inete na ikugido oku na social media one day international communities abia. Si ayongwa, can you referendum? It will not work. Because Obuna in Nigeria government for referendum and not for referendum kafajibulu nam de kanu. Na-emi mpali, na-emi akaje di iche iche. Kedu ka anyị si iche na ha nakata organize your live referendum just like that? Is this not time that we have to rise up and take our freedom by force? Is this not the right time that on your Obuna, after what is trending on social media a few days ago, where the pastor na Okay, oh my goodness. I had sorry for that interruption. I had network problem. Was my network. Okay, so like I was saying, the question and the topic which we are discussing today is this not the right time for we Biafrans to go violent? Because I understand that if we don't go violent, they would never take us serious. And the number on the screen you can call to make your contribution. Let us understand what you think, why you think it is good and it's the right time for us to go violent or not. Because for me, I understand their strategy, and I also understand that if we don't go violent, if we don't create awareness, they would never take us serious. And that is where we are. That is where we are going. So the lines are open. Someone is calling. The lines are open. So you can call us. Let's hear. How can we continue to wait? Like I was saying, how can we continue to wait now? How do we ever think that maybe one day it change? No change or kita? Or do we want to continue waiting for our next generation to still come back, continue talking this nonsense as we are talking now? And we also on this platform, this is Freedom TV, where we preach nothing but freedom. And that is why we have more problem with those who would call themselves pastors in Biafra land, because they are the main people whom the colonists are using against us. Somebody could say, no, you people should stop talking about pastors and all this, but they are our problem in Biafra land. How can we stop talking about pastors? How can we stop talking about foreign religions that destroyed our heritage as a people? How can we stop? Because like I said before, ọ bụrụ na mgbe ndị nze na ọzọ na-asị ile tupu ha echi ọzọ, o nwere onye n'ime nze na ọzọ ga-anọlụpụta enye ya ego ọ kwetasị gbuo mma anyị na mpa anyị ha. O nwere onye nze ga-anọdụ enye ya ego ọ sị na ihe dị njọ dịzi mma. They want to push us to the wall. They want us to go violence. And that violence we will go. Surely. Because we cannot fold our hands and get killed. We can fold our hands and watch our mother get killed every day. It is not done, not now, and not ever. So anybody who tells us to continue praying and fasting must be deceiving his or herself. Because this is the era that we must have to stop fighting and praying. This is the time that we must have to work for God to finish the work. Because even Bible says that prayer without faith without work is vanity, is dead. And for that sake, I was supposed to have a guest with me who will be joining me in a very short time. I will be bringing him in because he had also a couple of things to say to us. And on that note also, the line is all still open. The line is open that you can call us to make your opinion be heard. The line is open as I bring my brother who will be joining me, Chineke, because the time has come when we will take Biafra by force, and that is what we believe. We don't think this is any longer time for us to continue being civil. This is no longer time that we continue to say that we are abiding to the international communities. And why should we even abide to international protocols when the same international communities violates their own constitution, which says that self-determination is a fundamental human right? So we've got every reason for us not to respect that international protocols anymore. And we've got a reason to back it up. The international community, let's make this clear, that the international community says, if you are up to certain amounts of people, group of people, or ethnic nationalities that wants to be your own nation and govern your sovereignty yourself, that you are mandated to demand it through a legal procedure. And which other legal procedures than what we have been practicing? Which is, for example, boycotting of votes, which is civil disobedience. It's our right to vote and not to vote. And now, if the same international communities who had said to us that it's our right as a people, you choose wherever I belong, you choose why the same international communities was saying, Kitty, Nigeria government are killing us because we said we want Biafra. So do you see now, no bulu na nyemelo something? Iman as no nya no bu no bia no emelo ka onyala na da no nye nwa no okwu ndi Igbo. Obulu no obi emelo ka onyala da no nye nwa ka ngwo no. Obulu na ibu IPOB family emelo something geme ka ndi amalu na Nnamdi Kanu onye isi anyị dị anyị mkpa. They will continue to toy with us. Obulu na ye create awareness. Onwe ife game obodo ewe ma na mmadu no. You must do something ka ndị mmadu we mala na enu ya. Anyị nchetocha na obo gbata hu. Onwe ife ga art ya magodu na ịbata na odogwu bata. Maka na ya si na mgba na odogwu abụrụ ka inem. No ife ime ka ga-eji kpogo odogwu. So, kedu ka anyị ga-esi wee kpuchie aka anyị? Ndị Igbo si na ọbụna obi emelo ka onye ala na-ada anụ ihe nwaanyị. How can we fold our hands? Ebe the same you, anyị na-ene anya na anyị achọghị violate law, anyị achọghị violate international constitution, nke nwanụ. Mana the same people who na-egbu anyị na-violate the same law. The same people who made the law doesn't care about it. Then isizi anyị nwa, anyị violate na the law, you will our freedom. Then isizi anyị nwa, na ịchọzi our freedom, ọ bụla violate international law. Then isizi anyị nwa, na ọ bụ na anyị nọ kpegide ekpere na-akụ aka na-eme ekene Maria ma ọ na-ekpe n'afa Jesus. How do you think that na onwe ndị na-anwụcha n'ugbo na Benue State ọ na Father ekpere Jesus? Ndị na-anwụcha na Katsina na ha ekpere Jesus? Ndị agba befe ọkụ n'Imo State, do they not believe in Jesus? I'm asking all of you Nigerians who fail to reason. And that is why we continue to suffer as a people. All of you believe that when you travel, maybe you live in Lagos and you travel to Anambra State, you come back. And then when you come back and then you hear that Fulani headsmen attacked Ore, where you just passed a few hours ago, you say, oh, thank you, Jesus. You come to church to say you have a testimony. And what is your testimony? You stupidly open your mouth to say that Jesus Christ saved you, that headsmen attacked people, and you were in front, and you see how mentally enslaved and derailed we are as a people. And that is why black man has no respect anywhere we go. Because our way of reasoning is completely wrong and completely bad and irrelevant as well to the current situation of the world we are living. Abuna yemelo ka onye ala ama nlapu onye isi anyị ka ngwa unu Biafrans. Abuna yemelo ka ndị ala ama mma na anyị dị na ndị ka ngwa unu na Nnamdi Kanu anyị luzuo ya anyị atagbuo nwa anyị n'afọ. Anyị na ebe a kịta ọnọ n'ime na-akụ gossip onye li ego na onye na-elile ego. But we see that these people don't even care about us as a people. The politicians are willing to sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure they please their masters. They don't even care how we feel. If we continue complaining, they don't care because it doesn't affect them. The only thing, Mpaka na support why truly ezigbo support on we na akpom ihu na abo. Mpaka na support why truly obviously say I continue sitting at home. No ya na matter the politicians. But I makwa that we also stab ourselves from behind sitting at home. But no go see but the politicians do not come to my church anymore. Open actually jije maka nwanyi. Maka no ijide Nnamdi Kanu first go don party to the whole ndị Igbo. Wagazie Biafra in general. It's a big insult and a big disgrace to us as a people. Nnokata ma you see it is the brain of this our current generation we go to something or kuli or something in Abuja. Because I can't understand. Between 1966 and 1970 that our people asked Okechukwu, mandated him to declare Biafra. What was done to our people then before they mandated Ojukwu to declare Biafra was more than what they are doing was less, way less than what we are going through today as a people. And yet these idiots in political positions in Biafra land don't want to talk about it. So if they don't want to talk about our history, if they are people that are willing to sacrifice everything sacrificable to achieve their aspirations, do we have to continue holding on? The only thing is that we must have to be prepared, and we are not prepared. Only here we have misunderstanding. Only here we are having it difficult. Only here we find it difficult. Because the time we are supposed to use to organize ourselves, we are the time our political leaders continue to go to Abuja one after the other. And then those in Abuja, those in Abuja, they send their own spies as shoemakers in our land. I am Marona Beka, how we live, how we do this, how we do that. And let me tell you this, your people this, if we are not ready, if we are not preparing Naga, Nabia, let us know that Naga Nabia Nabaya. And in the coming weeks or days, Onogafuna Hagebido attack about various markets in Biafra land, markets in Daosano. Kahawe attack no IPOB. This is their plans. And that is one of the reasons why I delay Kano. So, Obulukita and Hane delay Kano. How by themselves. This is how it works. By themselves, we now go and attack outside markets in Igbo land, and then say no, Eastern Security Network attack her because Nahaho Dukan. That is one of the reasons they are denying access to them. But at the same time, we must have to realize that our freedom is in our hands. We must have to realize that no one will give us freedom if not we. We must have to realize that there is only one way in which Biafra might come, and that is that we fight them to get freedom, because freedom doesn't come free. Freedom will never get free until you fight to be free, until you fight for yourselves, until you say enough is enough. I am tired of suffering. That is why somebody said I should tell Nigerians that what they want is bloody revolution. And I say, how can I tell Nigerians that what they want is bloody revolution? They should know themselves, because you can only embark on revolution when you think the suffering you are suffering, you have seen enough of it. That is only when you can say, I'm enough. I can die to stop suffering. But if you still see there is hope in your suffering, how can you ever believe or get rid of it? Are you not tired of going to school and you fail to find a work? Are you not tired that you graduated with your master's degree, one of the best in whole Africa, but somebody without qualification will be employed into positions where you are supposed to work? Are you not tired that for years we continue to hope that we will have a better Nigeria? Are you not tired that there is no 24 hours electricity in your country? Are you not tired that we are still living in 21st century? Listen, if you go to other civilized countries, they are pulling down every colonial or slavery trademark. But in our own, we are maintaining the structure that was laid based on racism and colonism. That is why whenever you go and you say you're a Nigerian, they see you as an idiot. They see you as a tout. They see you as a coward. Because if you are not a coward, how can you come and claim that you went to school, you go to school, and you studied history, and you fail to ask the history or try to make a research as a study or as a learned person? Whom am I? What is the practices of my ancestors like we do today? I found and done back here no maybe. Because Yemen between that 1967 and 1970, Nandins and also Ndias and Nandi Bonabani would declare like Biafra. Bumakan Engwe or Men and Abaye Kadile. Mba Ndio Zoka Saileha. mgbe a ndị chi ọzọ na nze ka na-ekwu eziokwu, mgbe a ndị Igbo ka nwee ugwu, mana ehi ụka dominate everything anyị na-eme, ifụba ndị omenala asị ndị alụ na ndị ọjọọ. That is the reason why I putazia, we will think that the prayer will sort everything. And that is why we have problem with pastors. That is why we have problem with pastors. And we cannot continue, we can never stop having problem with pastors. Why? The reason is because Oboni may travel abroad. And Obona of this Europe, Asia, America, wherever part of you are, iwe felo igwa ndị na ndị ọcha sef wetala anya ụka adeje dogo otu ndị ba anyị si eji iwe felo igwa for self that na let him us always some things some of us na maro some of us believe on why no keta bido maybe exist just this 2000 years like I know 2022, right? So some of us now we feel like that this very particular word I know now, not just 2022 years gonna exist. And we fail to understand that the Igbo people were the oldest people on the face of this earth. And for us to get that freedom we desire, we have to go back to whom we used to be, what our people used to practice, what our ancestors used to do. Those things are in all the evil. Those things are in all the diabolic. We are all for them to make it, to pave way for us, to conquer us. Because how na more the buying the deal. No na ina more the buy the na ha man conquer musiani, or like haji buy and ka anyi nwe balo. Ka ejuke no nwa anya ajuju. How is it possible that na tu anyi no as a people kita? Nwa anyi balo. Ka go onwe eziokwu. Ọ bụrụ na mmụọ inwe ebe alụ, mmadụ bịa sị gị na mmụọ anyị nwe ebe alụ, welu nke enye gị ihe dị na akwụkwọ, o were nke ga-aba alụ. Ka anyị jụọ onwe anyị ajụjụ as a people. Ọ bụrụ instead anyị ga-erizin ya na-erizin na onye na-ekwu ebe antichrist ma ọ nọ nka. Ka anyị tụdebeke na-egwu ọkụ mmụọ, no na the greatest of them na-emebi ile anyị ife. And ndị neo-colonist, ndị nọ n'okpuru a control anyị, na-eyuzu ndị pastọ anyị megide anyị. And don't ka iji wee gbuo nna ka anyị nwee nwelu Biafra anyị ọ bụ ọzọ ịdị na-eche na prophecy enye anyị maka 2023 all for anyị want to work for it. And na-atụfughị mgbe I have my brother with me here, Maazị Okechukwu Nwachineke. You are welcome. The floor is yours. Ihe anyị na-discuss today bụ anyị na-discuss based on the current insult the DSS, our leader, and the Biafra nation entirely. And we are asking, how long do we have to continue waiting and being law-abiding to ndị amara na it is serious? Or violent, would they ever take us serious? The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, my fellow Biafrans.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
We cannot hear you. Try to connect your... And at the same note, number there. Is this not the right time that we must have to show those that finds joy in killing our people that we can still fight to restore Biafra, that we can still fight to be free, that we are not afraid to fight or die for what we believe in, but we only want to be law-abiding? But when they push us to the world, that we will not have no option entirely will be left of us than to fight. And that freedom, you must have to fight for it. Freedom doesn't come on a platter of gold. Freedom, you take it by force. And on that note, I will wait another few minutes. And if you've got a contribution to this, like I said before, we have 30 minutes to go here. We'll be stopping this program right at 7:33. So any person that has got contribution can call and make it clear. Mazi Okechukwu, I don't know if you are okay now. You can go ahead.
Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yeah, but yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, my fellow Biafrans all over the world. My name is Mazi Okechukwu. I'm from Umoji Idemili Namambala Biafra land. I'm joining this program this evening from Germany. I think it to precise. My wonderful people of Biafra all over the world, the IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra, under the leadership of Mazim Namdu Kukano, the DOS, of course, the Eastern Security Network, because I must mention them, the lovers of freedom, freedom fighters all over the world. We are here once again this evening, afternoon, morning, depends where you are watching us from. We must, I say, people join hands together, because this time around is not the time we preach maybe somehow how to go to heaven. If they don't give us the chance to take the date of referendum, believe me, you have no other option to take our freedom by ourselves, because freedom is not given, freedom is taken. All of us know what is going on in DSS dungeon in Abuja. They refuse, they denied our lawyers access to our leader, Mazem Nandu Kukanu. As I'm talking to you, nobody knows if our leader is alive or dead. And we cannot fold hands together. We must call all Biafrans all over the world to rise up. Now is the time. Now is the time, because they want to kill our leader, Mazem Nandu Kukanu. Who knows if he's still alive or not? We must, as a people, do something so that he will be free if he's still alive. If he is not alive, we must do something to make sure we gain our freedom, because he made it very, very clear to us. He will sacrifice everything sacrificable to make sure his people is free. And now is the time. Thank you so much, my beloved brother, Mazi Onaga. As you can see, I'm not happy. And as well, I know that you are not happy. Thank you, and God bless us.
Thank you, Nwachineke. This is devastating and this is heartbroken. And that is why we are asking Biafrans that this is time for us to rise up to the occasion. This is the time for us to demonstrate whom we truly are as a people. This is the time that we must have to let the conquerors understand that we are not a people to be conquered. We don't have to continue to fold our hands, waiting for those who finds joy in seeing our mother cry every day to liberate us. We don't have to keep folding our hands, going to church, praying and fasting, thinking that will bring freedom. Because as of today, the 22nd day of February 2022, we don't know if the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazim Nnamdi Kanu, is alive or if he's been killed. When we have been denied access to him, how do we be sure, or how do we ascertain that our leader is free, is alive? This is the right time. And the question remains, Mazi Okechukwu, and I ask Biafrans too to understand that if we are true sons of our Father, that we cannot continue waiting and not fighting those who our ancestors challenged for 3 good years. If our Father can fight them for 3 years, why should we be so afraid to fight to be free? Or do we forget that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has already sacrificed everything for the freedom of Biafra? Or we forgotten that he sacrificed his parents for this freedom of Biafra. Most of the time, you all talk about ritual. Mazi has done his own part of ritual for the Biafra restoration. And it's for up to us to show him solidarity. Which solidarity are we going to show him? Not folding our hands in prayer, not sitting in our rooms to gossip. It is time that we have to let the world know. Just say, if we don't show them how crazy we are or the method to our madness, they will never know and they will never take us serious. This is simple fact. But the question remains, is this the right time for us to raise up the arms and fight and confront our enemies? Why, knowing fully well that Mazi is in their dungeon? Mazi Okechukwu, tunye ọnụ n'okwu a ka anyị mma maka ndị be anyị na-adị obi adịrọ ndị be anyị masịsị nya Barrister Ejiofor Kucha. Now once again, they deny access to our leader, and we don't understand if he's dead or if he's alive. But let's say he's alive. Even if he's alive, it's an insult to the entire Igbo nation. The way they are treating Mazi, and also war without end they want to create. But my question is this the right time for us to raise arms, even knowing fully well that at the condition of our leader in their dungeon?
Follow Biafrans all over the world. I want two people to give me this opportunity to call on international community, the United Nations, the European Union, the United States of America, the so-called African Union. We call on your people to come and rescue Biafrans. If your people did not come for our aid, believe me, we have no option to take arms and defend ourselves. Our people are being killed, our properties are being destroyed, our businesses are being destroyed, our mother, fathers are being kidnapped on daily basis by Nigeria terrorist government. And your people are keeping quiet. Your people don't want to say anything. I'm here to call all Biafrans all over the world to make sure I'm prepared wherever you are. If you are saving money, you must prepare yourself, because we can see that the world are keeping quiet. When it comes to black people, when it comes to Biafrans, everybody fold their hands. They don't want to say anything. Our leader, we don't know if he's still alive or not. We are not calling for violence. We are not calling for war, but we have no option to defend ourselves. We have no option to defend our land. This time around is not time we preach how to go to heaven, because we must defend our land. We must defend the interest of our people. I'm calling on Biafrans all over the world. My fellow Biafrans, all of us must as well prepare ourselves. Please, if you are Reverend Father in Biafra land, you must preach about Biafra. We don't know what you are preaching to your church, where your people are being killed. They are kidnapping your people, and you are preaching how to go to heaven. If they finish your people, which people will come to your church? Which people will you go to preach to have to go to heaven? But Imo State is under siege. They are killing our people in Imo State. They are killing our people in Ihiala. Biafra land is war zone now. The world are keeping quiet. Joe Biden in America, you said nothing out of all those things going on in Biafra land. The so-called world powers, your people are keeping quiet. My brother Onaga, do you know that Russian Prime Minister recognized 2 or 3 states in Ukraine, and Joe Biden condemned it? Joe Biden sanctioned them, said they have go against the international community law. But our leader was kidnapped, extraordinary rendition back to Nigeria. Nigeria government and Kenya government have already go against international law. They said nothing. Are we not human beings? Why our people are keeping quiet? Why the international community are keeping quiet when it comes to Biafra? We must defend ourselves. We have no option, because we have seen that the international community do not want to say anything. I call on Israel government to come and rescue Biafra and say, come and recognize Biafra, come and do whatever he wants to do so that we can be free as a people. They are killing us, they are kidnapping us, They are denying us access. They have refused our leader when we saw him last in the DSS custody. I mean, in the Nigerian so-called Federal High Court, they denied him access to our traditional attires. That shows that these people have denied us who we are. We are calling on Israel government because we know it's only Israel that our brother in the whole world. No other people can come for our aid. We call on Israel government to do the same thing Russia do to Ukraine. We are calling on you people to do the same thing. At the same time, I call on GOS of the indigenous people of Biafra to do something. We want you people to shut down Biafra land. We want you people to give the order because we did not do anything. Believe me, these people will kill our leader and nothing will happen. Don't listen to any international community if they want to arrest all of us all over the world. Let them get prepared to arrest the whole Biafra, I mean the IPOB, under oath because they must arrest us. They must jail all of us because we need freedom. If what we are fighting for is not belongs to us, they must come and jail us. But if what we are fighting for is what belongs to us, they must arise up now and give us date of referendum. We are not calling for war, but we have no option to defend ourselves because self-defense is recognized by so-called international community. Are we not human beings? Hashtag Biafran's life matter. You have no option to give us date of referendum. You have no option because we are up to 17 million population. Why are you people keeping quiet? Are we not human beings? You said that international community, you recognized after 50 years of civil war, whatever, the people can decide. Are we not people? Is Biafran people not recognized by international community? We are all over the world. We are contributing in international communities. Why are you people keeping quiet? Our people are being killed. Now we don't know if our leader is life or death. Why are you people keeping quiet and call on DOS of the indigenous people of Biafra to do something now? This time around, we must do something. We must do something. I call on DOS to shut down Biafra land. Our people back home, you people must be prepared. Don't say that we are not with you people and putting sit at home on you people. You must to shut down Biafra land. You must to shut Biafra land. The whole entire Biafra land must be shut totally because our leader, we don't know if our leader is life or death. We must shut that economy. They are learning that we don't want to have economic problem. We must shut down Biafra land. We must shut down Biafra land. Biafra must be free. Biafra must be free. If they want to take our leader's life to make sure that we are free, he have said it before now that he will, and he has already sacrificed everything, sacrificed everything to make sure we are free. So what are we waiting for? What Biafrans all over the world are waiting? What are we waiting? I'm asking you people. If they want us to go there, we must do it because we must be free. We must be free. What is all this problem? Are we not human beings? When it comes to Biafra, everybody keep quiet. You people are hypocrites. I'm calling on the international community. All of you people are hypocrites. You are focusing on Ukraine and Russia because they have already taken up arms. Do you want us to take up arms? You killed our people, 5 million Biafrans, 1967, 70s. Till today, none of you people are recognizing our people. You murdered our women. You murdered our children. You murdered our men and women. Now, none of you people are remembering them. You people did not recognize the war. You people did not recognize the war. Now, you are keeping quiet. Biafrans are being killed. You are going to Ukraine. You are going to Russia. You are making locusts. You are giving people alert what is going on in Russia and Ukraine. Joe Biden, the United States of America, the so-called United Nations, you people are hypocrites. Biafrans are being killed, as well as Amazonians are being destroyed what they have as a people. And you people are keeping quiet. You think we will continue like this? We will not continue like this. Make prepared. Prepare the prison. You're going to jail all of us because we are coming. We are coming. When we say we are coming, we are all over the world. And you can't do us anything unless you kill all of us before we keep quiet. Thank you, Mazi.
Thank you.
I'm not happy.
Okechukwu,
I'm not happy because this is getting out of hand.
Why you are
These people are denying us access. Are we not human beings? I'm not happy, Mazi.
Thank you. On this note, we'll be calling it a time. But before we go, I would like to say a few things. And if there is any one of you who want to call us on on the number here. He's free. But what I want to say concerning the hypocrisy of this international governing body is this. You all understand that Germany has placed sanction on Russia, right?
Of course.
Russia recognized
Even America,
in Ukraine, which is Donetsk and I think Luhansk. And then America placed sanction on Russia as well because this is a significance that all of them stands against freedom. They don't want freedom. They don't want people to be free. Truth. They want to control the lives and beings of the people. This is the reason. Because if not, why should you be against a person, a country or a nation recognizing another nation? And then you want to prevent war in Europe, but in Africa, they can come and buy ammunition, go down there and kill ourselves. Do you now see why I have issue with the governing body of Africa? Do you now understand why my most annoyance is with those nonsensical organizations that call themselves African Union? Because if there is African Union and people are being killed every day, government doesn't work.
What are they doing?
There is no hospital in Africa. What is the job of the people that are governing us? Do you now understand this? What is their job? What is their duty? They should then destabilize that nonsensical organization because they don't represent our interests as a people. They represent their various personal interests. The only aim is to enrich them pockets. That is why we younger generations has to understand that for us to be free as a people, that everybody must have to support this very divine mandate of Biafra. And if you're a Biafran, don't you understand the time for the intimidation from the Fulani that control the governing seat of Nigeria is time now? Don't you think the intimidation is enough? Don't you think that those that finds joy in conquering you can never stop until you do something? Can't we, Africa, even rise up on one voice and say, let this happen in Africa? Why can't we even rise up and educate ourselves on the needs for us to be free? Because this international community we are looking up to and hoping up to don't care about us. They want us to buy ammunition from them with the money. Listen, this is the simple thing they are doing. They will come to our land, take our oil and gas and our mineral resources, go to their land, sell it, refine it and sell to us again. Take our money from us, use it to make their researches and build ammunition, and then we still use our money to buy their tankers to kill ourselves for the same oil and gas they've exploited. This is what I call the cowardice of a black man. Because a black man don't care about how his brother feels as long as he's okay. That is why you will see a black man in this Europe, they will defraud their fellow black man. And that is where we got it wrong. So fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom, I want you all to understand that our freedom lies in our own hands. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has sacrificed anything sacrificable already. It's only up to us to finish this work. And the time is now. It is no more need for us to be campaigning and waiting and hoping that miracle happens. And we are with you. We are with you. Because our father fought them. And we are ready to fight to defend the integrity, more importantly, not apart from the freedom, but the integrity of us as a people. As indeed, because of ego peanut. And on that note, we'll be bringing an end to this very program. Mazi Okechukwu, you anything to say, and then I conclude this. You say you have 5 minutes. Let's round up this program.
Follow Biafrans all over the world. I have no other thing to say that please, we all must be prepared. Why are we afraid? If we want freedom, we must rise up. If we need this Biafra, if we want to be free as a people, we must now, not tomorrow. All of us must rise up. And if you're a Biafran and you claim that whatever is going on in Biafra land is not concerning you, I can assure you it concerns you. because na ndị Igbo tụrụ nsị na onye ji nwanne ya anarọ onye ọkụ na-agbabe ya anaghị achụ oke. All of us must. This is the time. This is the time. This is the time, because the lawyer of our leader, should I say the lawyer of the indigenous people of Biafra, have given us the information. We don't have access to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu anymore. The brother of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has made it very, very clear. We have no access to him anymore. Follow Biafrans. This is what is going on. What are we still waiting for, said people? Oh, we want them to show us the dead body of our leader before we start doing